Well, according to David Cory, head of Debtor Management at Nedbank, after experiencing an unprecedented drop in business volumes and values last year, the South African debtor finance industry appears to be back on track and is showing signs of resuming the steady growth trend it enjoyed between 1996 and 2008. And David joins us now in studio to unpack the status of things as it stands right now. Thanks so much, David, for joining us this afternoon. Well, certainly not difficult to assume, why we saw such a sudden drop in business volumes and values last year, but run us through at the top just how dire the situation had gotten.
Well, I think we'd had unprecedented growth for about 7 years before that. Now suddenly in 2008 the wheels just fell off, and it didn't matter whether we were dealing with clients who dealt in the motor manufacturing or the clearing and forwarding. They were all affected, and effectively there were less invoices around to purchase, and that's really what we do.
Well, with the recession now behind us and big question marks still surrounding the possibility of a double-dip recession, I mean, what kind of shift have you started to see from that position we were in last year to the halfway mark this year?
I think I'm cautiously optimistic. I think since February this year it's been a little incrementally better every month. So there's certainly more activity around. Certainly if you look June against June last year, we're up significantly, well, I say 10% up, and every month it's a little bit better. So yes, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Well, this that's playing out now is really contrary to some of the, our usual cycles that we see in a year, where we usually see most of the purchasing activity and invoicing, financing occurring from the middle of each year and continuing through December. Is that the case, a shift in the cycle, or necessarily the fact that we're going to see things slow down as we progress next year?
Well, I think this year we had the World Cup, which I think that may have influenced the activity starting a little earlier. We had clients in the food chain who obviously needed to stock up, but certainly in South Africa you would tend to expect the activity to increase from July through to November, December, and then a little bit of a dip, and then you get back into the next season again.
To what extent should we be pricing in somewhat of a risk factor, though, given, like you say, we have seen the hosting of the 2010 Soccer World Cup really playing a big role in activity in the economy as a whole?
Yeah, I think we've got to be aware of it, but I think if we look at our pipeline, it's fairly good. I think if we see the amount of invoices that are around and obviously the necessity for funding, that's positive. So certainly when I look forward for the next 3 months, I'm quite satisfied looking where we are.
Well, taking a look at it from your books and the rise that they're reflecting in invoicing activity, which sectors really stand out at the moment? Is it broad-based in that respect, or pretty specific at the moment?
I think it's pretty broad-based. We predominantly will feature in the manufacturing, the wholesale, the food distribution, clearing and forwarding, motor manufacturing. So certainly we would have clients in all industries other than construction. It's just not a client that we deal with in the manufacturing industry.
I was reading through your report though and picked up that there is an economic sector that doesn't appear to be enjoying the increased level of activity that the others are, and that's the luxury goods industry. Just how much of a laggard are we looking at here, and what's your outlook in that space as we progress through the next half of this year?
I think it'll still be a tough space. I think what we've found with our clients is that they effectively find their clients buying down, where the customers aren't buying the luxury article, they're buying the cheaper article.
So in terms of outlook for the broad economy, what kind of perspective does the economy on this end give you, or does activity on this end give you on South Africa and its economic growth, where we're headed this year?
I think I'm much more confident than I was this time last year. And when I've had a look at the UK stats as well for the first quarter of 2010, they also saw sort of a similar trend, that a lot better than they were this time last year.